The mystery of the dark web. The dark web is a hidden section of the internet that is not indexed by search engines and cannot be accessed by regular web browsers. Since the early days of the internet, hackers, criminals, and activists have been using the dark web for various purposes, from selling illegal drugs and weapons to sharing sensitive information and organizing political protests. In this essay, we will explore the full story of the dark web, from its origins to its current state and future possibilities. Chapter 1: The birth of the dark web. The dark web is often associated with illegal activities and shady characters, but it actually has a more benign origin. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, researchers and engineers at the US government agencies and defense contractors were working on a new communication tool called the Tor network. Tor, the onion router, was created as a way to protect the privacy and security of sensitive government communications. The idea was to create a network that would route internet traffic through multiple layers of encryption and obfuscation, making it virtually impossible to trace or intercept. As Tor technology began to develop, computer scientists and researchers around the world started to use it for various purposes. One of the early adopters was the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a non-profit organization that advocates for civil liberties in the digital world. In 2002, the EFF launched the Tor Project, a non-profit organization that aimed to promote free speech, privacy, and human rights online. The Tor Project made the Tor network freely available to anyone who wanted to use it. Chapter 2: The Silk Road. One of the first high-profile examples of the dark web's potential for illicit activities was the Silk Road, an online marketplace for illegal drugs. The Silk Road was launched in 2011 by a person or group using the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts. The site was accessible only through the Tor network and used a digital currency called Bitcoin to facilitate transactions. The Silk Road quickly became popular among drug users and dealers, as it provided a relatively safe and anonymous environment for buying and selling drugs. However, law enforcement agencies around the world were also aware of the Silk Road's existence, and they began to investigate. In 2013, the FBI arrested Ross Ulbricht, who was believed to be the mastermind behind the Silk Road. Ulbricht was convicted of multiple charges, including money laundering and facilitating drug trafficking, and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Chapter 3: Dark Web and Crime. The Silk Road case was just the beginning of law enforcement's efforts to crack down on illicit activities on the dark web. Over the years, numerous other marketplaces, forums, and websites have been shut down or infiltrated by law enforcers. Some of the other illegal activities that have been conducted on the dark web include sale of fake IDs and passports, distribution of child pornography, sale of stolen credit card information, sale of weapons and explosives, sale of hacking tools and services. Despite the efforts of law enforcement, however, the dark web remains a hub for illegal activities. Criminals continue to find new ways to evade detection, and government agencies around the world are struggling to keep up with the changing landscape of cybercrime. Chapter 4: Dark Web and Politics. While much of the attention on the dark web is focused on its use for illegal activities, it also has a political aspect. Many activists and dissidents around the world use the dark web as a way to communicate and organize outside of the reach of repressive governments. The Syrian Electronic Army, for example, is a group of hackers that emerged during the Syrian civil war and used the dark web to coordinate attacks on government websites and spread their message. Similarly, during the Arab Spring protests of 2011, protesters in Egypt and Tunisia used the Tor network to communicate and organize without being detected by the authorities. The dark web has also been used by whistleblowers and activists to leak sensitive information to the public, as was the case with the WikiLeaks organization. Chapter 5: Future of the Dark Web. As technology continues to evolve, the dark web is likely to change as well. One possibility is that the dark web will become more decentralized, with users communicating directly with each other through encrypted channels rather than relying on centralized marketplaces and forums. Another possibility is that governments around the world will develop new tools and technologies to penetrate the dark web and monitor activities more effectively. Conclusion. In summary, the dark web is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that has far-reaching implications for society, the economy, and politics. While it has been used for a wide range of illegal activities, it has also served as a refuge and a tool for activists, whistleblowers, and dissidents. As the dark web continues to evolve, it will be important for policymakers, law enforcement agencies, and civil society to find ways to balance the need for privacy and security with the need for safety and order.